Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you enjoy the lunchtime. So, security in the wild. Security in the wild will be a talk about security perceptions around a software house. So, I'm working on a software house, and we work hard to put security in the process. In this talk, I will try to show you some tricks that we use, and some of them work, some of them not. So, first of all, who am I? I'm working as a security architect for Blip. Blip is a Porto-based company in Portugal that belongs to Paddy Power Betfair Group. Most of my work is on the gambling and betting industry nowadays, but I'm a security geek, so in Porto I run a group of enthusiasts of security where we do some meetups, and I am curator of AppSec, and maybe some of you know it, some of don't, that you can use it for security awareness in your company. The agenda will be pretty straightforward. So we will start to see some of the things we know that exist in the world. The world I'm seeing is the software world. How we facing and what we do to survive. The world as we know it. So we have one thing. Normally, if we work on a software house, we have always this demand for new features. Our product team wants to be always ahead of the game of the others, So it's like feature, 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 and time to market is everything. And that's, for a security perspective, is a problem. New technologies hypes. So what I'm talking about, I work with several geeks that they really love the new technology. And everything that is new, most of the times for them is better than the last one they used, and they want to change. And for a security team to keep up their pace is really, really hard. Because I remember some years ago when they start to do the change for Node.js, I didn't know anything about JavaScript and Node.js. So how can I teach them security problems if I don't know which problems I'm facing it? So we have the technology wipe, for sure. This started notion time of time. So all of us work on pretty complex companies, and we have a huge stack. And this stack I'm talking about is not the software stack. I'm talking about directors, managers, head-offs, and people that have a completely different time notion from the real one. So when we are in the battlefield, let's call this, people want to do things that are impossible, and we need to work out the better way we know. So, and new issues arise every day. InfoSec world is an ongoing world, and as we know, if there is a new technology, new problems will arise. And even in the old technology that are for a while being used in productions, we know that people do more research, so problems will appear. And one thing that is common to everything inside the company I work in, for sure in yours, probably, is that security is not part of the process. There is no specific thing just to talk with the security guy or make sure that security is aware or something like that. Security is always something that they want, but they will not enforce it, or they will not work to be part of the process. And facing the world. So I work in a software house. So the most important things they do is the software. And this is a normal diagram of the software development lifecycle. Probably in your company you have something similar. It can be different for sure. In this one, this is more or less the approach we have inside Blip. And one just simple note is that the deployment part, we had the deployment as keeping the product in production and maintenance. So some people put this as a different thing, but here it's just we put on the same box. And let's get started. So requirements. Here it's where people do the question. So I want to build a new product. What for? Who will use the system? How the system will be used? Which input we need and which output will be generated? And in the end, we hope to have a nice requirement specification document. This is not the real life, but somehow, because people sometimes do the requirements from a whiteboard and they will not write any documentation about it, but this is what we would like to have. And looking in detail, So most of the times requirements to the product that we are maintaining are coming from the product team, and they have a security perception. What is security? They have no clue what is security. So one thing, the guys are not bad, but most of the times they really don't know that what they are suggesting, it will open a huge hole in our organization. So what we try to achieve or to do to avoid this problem, it was some kind of an engagement process where we try to fulfill a simple document with them, where we will take to a meeting, and that meeting will be full of all security departments, infrastructure, risk, compliance, all that kind of security guys, where we will present this project. And if someone raise a question like this is compliant on some jurisdiction, maybe we will have a note to work on that project. And improvements for this engagement process, it's more or less okay. We can try to get the product on the early stage and make the security group aware of it, but we need to do better. And target training, because education, in my perspective, is the key for everything. We should try to educate the product owners with target training. We should show them bad examples, stuff that they ask for and it went really bad, and stuff that they ask for security work and went really well. So if they saw the examples, probably they will have a different approach next time. Then we go to the design phase. So here is the techie part. People will gather, will do the hardware, software, requirement systems. They will draw their nice diagrams saying this system will interact with this system, they'll exchange this type of data, and where is security? Probably not there, but we will see in a minute. And in the end, we hope to have implementation and a support documentation, something that we can get to the dev teams, and for them, they know what to do. Again, this is not real life, something that we would like to have. And in the design, so most of the work on design is made by architecture teams, and the security perspective for them is like security is always a blocker. These guys, they want SSL, they will blow up my performance. These guys want authentication, this is really hard to do. It's their way to see things. And what we did as a security group to tackle this problem, we create a security architecture team that I belong to, where we try to be on their meetings and show them that it's not so bad, that things can happen on a secure way and on a simple way. And it's better to tackle the problems right now than after the development is done, because it will be more costly for the company, for sure. And improvements, again, education. We should show them the good examples from Facebook, Google, Amazon, and so on. We should show them that it's possible to have secure stuff built in on the nice software stack without being having performance losses or without being so heavy. And then we go to the code. The code is where I do most of my work. It's with the dev teams. And what is supposed to be on this phase? They have diagrams, they have documentation to work out, but at least they have one thing for sure. They know what they need to build. And is on this phase where we create a real product. And who are the responsibles for the code? Development teams. The security perception is don't care, most of them. Some of them, again, they don't know what is security, so that's the reason they don't care. Others, they really just don't care. They know about the problems, but they don't want to fix it. But we have a mission. We should implement security in our development lifecycle. So first thing we did was give them security libraries. So we have in OWASP, ASAP API, and stuff like that for the Java projects, where they do a bunch of validations. And we create more in-house security libraries, where we say to the guys, hey, please, can you use this version of the input validation because it's safe, and for you, it's just calling a different method. And the guys they are really okay with this approach. Then Blip works in Scrum. He uses Scrum to develop software. And in Scrum, they work on sprints of 2 weeks. And they have something called the sprint planning, where they decide what they will do on that sprint, and they will give points to the user stories. And one thing that security team has problems in the past was communication with the devs. So with this project Watchdog, we managed to talk with the dev teams on a seamless way. So in the past they used Rally, right now they are using Target Process. Anyway, it's just agile platform for managing the US defects and all that stuff. And we just add a simple security review check on every single user story. So when they are doing their sprint planning, they can just check that user story as a security review and write some notes saying, hey guys, can you have a look on this? Or we will follow this path, do you think it's okay? So on a seamless way, on a normal thing that they do every single 2 weeks, they can interact with the security team. They will not suffer. It's pretty easy for them. Then we create checkcode. And what is checkcode? It's just a simple webhook, but it works really, really well. So every single time that the guy do a commit to master, that commit part will be parsed by a regular expression engine that will try to catch vulnerable calls. So an example, the guys in Java do request parameters. That's okay, but we have a security library that you can just do request safe parameters. And it will validate all the inputs against the bad things that we don't want in our product. And this checkcode is automatic, just dropping an email to the guy, hey man, I saw your commit, can you just please change your call for this call and everything will be okay? And the guys really freak out because they thought that we are on them, on the top of every single commit to the master, but really works well. And we just need to update the regular expression engine and add more rules as we like, and it's really, really simple. So it was a nice approach to tackle this big problem. And then I have on these separate boxes, because testing and code will share these boxes. We have other approach. So as I said, they work on sprints of 2 weeks. So we have a meeting that is called Security Clinics, where we gather all the security champions, guys, that I didn't talk, but I will talk in a bit, where they will show me what they will do for this sprint and if they have any security concern. Or most of the times they don't have, but I challenge them with questions. I ask them, did you thought about this? Are you sure this is not vulnerable to some kind of this type of attacks? And the guy starts to think up during that meeting. And it's a good thing because since it's all across the company, different teams know what other teams are doing. Then we have security in Scrum. Again, we are using Scrum, and they have a thing that is called definition of then. And where this definition of then, they just say, this is the things that I want to mark this user story as complete. So why not put security there? So that was our approach. We went there and we talked with them first, of course, and realized that if we give them a checklist for them to validate if they're doing input validation, output validation, least privilege, is being used, and so on, they like it and it's really easy for them. So this is the project security in Scrum, just adding something more to their completion of them. And then we have the Security Champions program. Security Champions program is where we put a normal dev guy that is keen on security or just like the InfoSec world, and we try to teach them. We teach them to look to the user stories from a new perspective. We teach them how to do an attack on a fancy way. And we have events where we do a small conference internal, where people go from other parts of the company. We show them security as a whole and try to teach them something new in their area. In the end of the day, they have a capture the flag, where they will put their hands on the vulnerabilities, and they really enjoy that because they are really learning. Then we have static analysis, of course. Static analysis is a helper for the code. We have a pipeline in place. And a funny thing was, the first time we approached the DevOps guy saying, hey, can we put a static analysis in the pipeline? Their answer was no. They just say, it runs under 1 minute, and I said, of course not, so no. Okay, so let's try to reach a middle point here. So can we have some kind of a synchronous call here? And they said no again. And I said, okay, why not? And it's against their philosophy. And I say, the continuous integration philosophy. And I say, but anyway, it will really improve our security. And we managed to have an asynchronous call. So they have the normal pipeline, and then when their main job is green, the build one, it will trigger a downstream project that will be our static analysis. And with this thing, we managed to get results for builds after not in 1 minute, but after 5, 6, 10, depends of the platform we are analyzing, in their dashboard. They have a special dashboard where they see the steps of the pipeline, and then they have a nice security column when they can see, oh, the static analyst said we have one vulnerability for this build, but we didn't have previous, so something we should have had the vulnerability problem there. And they will check it out. And for static analysis tool, we just use the normals, check marks, fortify. But there is always space for improvements. And again, training. We try to do it on our security champions and security clinics, trying to give them the tools for awareness. Posters always talk about the vulnerabilities and the AppSec design, stuff like that. And of course, we can do more. We can do more security libraries for them because it will be a helper and an easy one for them. Then we have testing. So they did the code, and then they go for the testing phase. And we will do the product validation. 2 types of testing here. QA teams. So most of the times they are responsible for the part of the testing of the product. And the perception is the same as the code, because normally they are coders, but they do more testing, so they don't care. And our response was doing dynamic testing. Of course, we take the product that they want to put in production, and we will test it. So we have specialized teams on that. And they share the same common things, security clinics, security scrums. They can be security champions, and static analysts can help them to fix a problem before go live. So as improvement, one more time, training, awareness, and regression testing. This is really important. Securities need to be there. So if we found a bug in production, we don't want that bug to be again, we should help them recreate that bug on their regression testing. So they will put that on their automatic tests, and it will catch if something go wrong. I'm saying this is as an improvement because it's not so easy, because most of the times in the security team, we don't know how to interact with their frameworks for testing sometimes. So we need their cooperation for this part. But no doubt that would be a huge improvement if we manage to do this. And then we go for the deployment part. So we have a nice build. Every single test was passed, hopefully. And then the product go live. Most of the times, DevOps teams are the responsible. What is their perception for security? Everything is done. I don't need to do anything because everything was already thought. So what we did in our security team to help these guys. So we have some hardening strategies. We have a web product. So we have security headers. We try to implement resource integrity in the things that we are loading from CDNs. Try to enforce HTTPS when possible, unfortunately not always. And we did a nice thing that was, right now we are able to test in production, so we can do the same thing as an attacker. So this is our responsibility. And as a side note, we are not, the security team in the past had a lot of struggles doing some code reviews during the development phase. And when they want to go live, security team was responsible for doing code reviews. But we saw that was impossible. So we reach out a solution that is the risk-based solution. What we are talking about? So in the end, for the guys there in Porto that want to do a build, they will have a decision-making helper for them to know if that build is secured or not, but based on risk. So we reach out the DMs and the product owners about their different products and ask what was the default parameters for their software, like the number of user stories you send to production, it handles PII data or not, it's PCI. And with that, we managed to put on an equation that will generate a number, and we can put this as a green, yellow, or red. And that small colors will appear on their dashboard, the pipeline dashboard on the security column, and it will help them try to have a nice decision before go live. So probably if it's red, something is wrong, and you should check it out. If it's yellow, something is out of normal, and probably you should check it out. If it's green, it's just one more normal build. It will not tell you that it's safe or secure, but at least they know what they are putting in production. And we can do better, of course, and we can do, if we are mature enough, a bug bounty program, why not? But we need to be mature enough to open to the world and give money to people to catch bugs, and monitoring place. So we have SRE teams, we have a lot of monitoring, but anyway, security-wise, we can do better. We can try to monitoring their logs, try to take in advance attacks that can be happening and no one is noticing because they are just exploiting logical flaws and stuff like that. So monitoring, it's for sure an improvement. And in the end, what we reached was, this is the aspect of our secure software development lifecycle, with some notes that I didn't put there, like the risk calculator and other auto things that we have. But pretty much, we have an engagement process, and we will pass for a security architecture team. During the code phase, we have several meetings, several initiatives, and we give them some tools for their work and interact with the security team seamless, without being boring or difficult. Then we will have dynamic testing, and in the final stage, we'll have earning and try to, again, test more, because problems will appear. And this was my presentation for today. So I'm open for the Q&A.
What's the size of the security team versus the size of developers?
So the security team is huge, but AppSec, more focus on AppSec, I would say 12 guys, probably. How many developers? That's a good question. I would say 700. Okay. We need automation for sure. We need tools to help us. Otherwise, we cannot do a proper work. The best way is try to teach them and give them the tools to work out. Okay, if I certify the security champions, but in how they make it? Sorry, I didn't understand.
How do you make them worthwhile? Is it?
Sacrifice them. Sorry, okay. Sorry. No. So on the security clinics, we try them, show them the cool stuff. You know, we can take a bug bounty from Google and say, hey guys, see this stupid thing. They did it. They are Google. Do you want to be the same? No, we want to be better or equal as them. You know, so they really love their product. So they don't want to be ashamed in public with something bad. You know, so that's the way we try to do, and always try to reach their level. So when I don't know something, I will ask them, can you teach me this? And they will feel like, oh, I know more than this guy. And yes, you know, it's your product. You know a lot more from the product than me. So there is no key for that. It's just be humble and try to reach them.
Did you give them any training or anything that they can do to spread the word?
The trainings, it's internal. We try on the security champions. We try to give them the talks directly to problems that we are facing and the mitigations. And our CTFs, normally they try to tackle problems that they can find in their own products. That's the best training. It's like I take this code snippet from them and I did some vulnerable application around, and they will exploit their own code. So on the architecture team, when we have the earliest stage, you can do the threat modeling there. You can do it, I don't know, by the decision.
Why you are not doing, that's what my question. Why you are not doing threat modeling in your AppSec pipeline?
No, we are doing on the security architecture team. Okay. It's just not a specific thing. It's something that when you are discussing the new product, we can do the threat modeling with the architecture team and show them that something can go wrong.
Do you map your threats with security countermeasurements or security impacts? Do you have any tracking of your security and security requirements or anything like that?
Recommendations?
Not really documentation, like what are the attack patterns you can have for your application. So, threat can use a particular attack pattern to attack the application. So do you do like attack modeling or anything like that along with the threat modeling?
Yeah, we show them. We see what they want to build, and we will gather several attacks that we can suffer and we cannot control. The most known example, it's always DDoS. We cannot control that, but if we are good enough to survive this, if they hit us,
So your AppSec team is doing the threat modeling?
the architecture team, yes,
Okay, architecture. Thank you.
yes. Something more? So, 25, I think it's okay. Do you have a question?
You talked about some tools for static analysis, and from my experience, these tools typically report many false positives.
Yes.
How do you deal with those to build the trust that the tool is actually useful within the company and generally?
So first of all, we go case by case, and then when I'm cleaning up the 45 check marks, whatever, and I see this is a potential issue, I go near them, and I will try to make sure that is real vulnerable. So, in short, the false positives, it's AppSec team responsible to close them. There is no bulletproof there.
So even though it's those tools are part of the pipeline as asynchronous job, it's not really like reporting green or red because there would be almost always red, right?
No, because they want to see everything green. That's the good part. Because they want their pipeline playing for the greens and not for the reds. So when they see something wrong on their pipeline, most of the teams, of course, it's a huge company. Not all of them work like this, but some of them work like this, and they will go to the static analysis platform and start to say, can I suppress this because this is stupid? This is a problem, we will fix this. And most of the times they clean their code. That's awesome, because they say, this is a problem on that code, we will remove this on the next build, don't worry. So,
Cheers.
okay, I think that's it. Thank you for your time.